in the feature at this, so please be back. I mean, he's great. He's great. So please put your hands together for the poet Mitch Cohen.
Well, I'll tell you. Now, first of all, I'm at 81.
Yes, you are.
Second of all, I think Carl Sandburg probably made out like a bandit anyway. All right. My name is whatever he said it was. I'm going to sit down because I have a shell fragment on my foot from Fire Island. The first poem is entitled Saturday Morning Early. It was the dawn of the universe and time had just begun. The centuries spread out like grains of sand when the child first saw the sun. Well, I was burning lots of rubber coming home from Tom Mayhew's because Friday night is poker, lots of action, lots of booze. My mind was tired and empty and my pocket surely mashed when I switched on the radio to see what I could catch. Well, there was news on every station, and once again I swore that I'd call about that take back because the news is such a bore, but this was kind of interesting. A UFO was seen, and some politics and ball scores, and the time was 4:15 in the AM. Well, the news report was over, and I waited for the sound of music coming front and back. Got 6 speakers in his hand. But all I heard was road sounds and a funny kind of tone, and with it a strange feeling that I wasn't quite alone. And then the headlights flickered, and the engine, when it just died, but the car, she started speeding, and I couldn't figure why. Like I said, the headlights flickered, and the engine went cold, but the lights around me meanwhile just shot up 1,000-fold bright like I never seen. And I was scared like I never been, as up above me I heard this din that was kind of a screech and throb and whine, and I wondered what had happened to this brain of mine. And you better believe it, I started to pray, but the words, I didn't know what to say. And now I was screaming, and I closed my eyes, the whole damn car began to rise. And the sun was high in the universe, and the child had now grown tall. And the years were rushing by, but the days were warm with no lessons learned at all. No lessons learned at all. Well, I think I fainted, I truly do, because the light had changed in a second or two. The lights had vanished and showed the sound. When I looked out the window, I could see no ground, just stars all around me in a thick, thick haze. And I thought I was seeing the end of my days, when my heart was pumping and I heard my breath and just didn't figure that this was death. I heard this voice so clear in my head, saying, be at peace, brother, 'cause now you're not dead. That's right, the voice. It said, just be at peace, brother, 'cause now you're not dead. And I was alive, I could see a ton. As away in the distance, a big red sun blazed down on a strange and silent land, where the cities were empty and the fields were sand, where the sea was a crater with a hard-baked shell, and that sun grown bigger and hotter than hell, just filling the sky. A fierce balloon, a hissing and spitting, a fiery balloon. And the rocks burnt like kindling, and that land glowed red as it puckered and heaved and groaned and bled, and I cried, why me, please? I gotta be told. And the voice said, here then. And the voice was cold. And the sun was heavy in the universe. And the light was growing dim. And those grains of sand were going fast. But it didn't bother him. And the voice said, this is only cleaning up a long dead place. Just burning the bones of a played out race. Then they went real quiet, without much affair, just kind of kept at it till no one was there. They gagged on the plenty while starving for more. They didn't need no big-ass nuclear war. And those who were leaders, the shrewd and the quick, the ones who could hate and make it stick, the ones who could hate, they done the trick. And you ask why you fool, who then? Those who would do this all over again. And now I was feeling the heat from that horrible place. And I knew in my heart that this was a race that I had to get back and tell what I saw. And I started in screaming and pounding the door. And that's how they found me, just pounding the door. Kicking and screaming and pounding the door. And I told them all that had happened to me. And they said things like, easy, we'll see. Just wait for the doctor. He'll make you well, you poor man. You look like you just seen hell. Just wait for the doctor and you'll be okay. And no one was hearing what I had to say. And I felt the tears rolling down my face because I knew that I'd lost that race. And it was midnight in the universe, and the lights were going out, and no one heard that final sound, one last protesting shout, one last protesting. It's Saturday morning early. Thank you. My next poem is called The Actor. He ran from final curtain to the waiting car, just minutes to the hospital and then room 7R. The old man's eyes near lightless now as his son approached the bed. Do you know me, who I am? He asked. My papa, the old man said. Was this to be the final pang from this addled, fleeting soul? The younger knew his farewell gift must be to play this role. He found a chair beside the bed and a hand so frail with age. He kissed that hand. A moment passed, then the actor took the stage. Mein Kind, mein kleiner boy, he said. How I remember so that day I took you fishing and you didn't want to go. Oh, you acted like you loved it. Did you think I didn't know? But I had no place to leave you and the cod were running strong, so off we went together. You were sick the whole day long. And I said, don't tell your mama. It was Shabbos day as well. And that was 40, 50 years ago. And I'm sure you didn't tell. And what about that awful meal to my eternal shame when I farted at the table and made like it was you? And your sisters all were laughing with your mama. What a scene. You were innocent as sunrise, but I made like it was you. And you stood and said you're sorry. What a mensch I thought I had. And I've loved you more than ever on that night I made you sad. Was there something in those ancient eyes, a spark within the night, as his son kept thumbing through the tales his father would recite. And when you met your Ethel and said, "Pop, I found my life," a singing voice that thrilled the birds, a queen among the crowd, how everybody loved her, except your sister bee, that one, your protector. She frightened even me. My crazy daughter Beatrice, your sister with the mouth who almost killed that teacher when he called you something bad, who drove her bike right into class and pinned him to the wall. You remember Beatty? Oh, what a mouth she had. But death had claimed the old man's eyes. What he'd heard, no mortal knows. But on deathless lips, the faintest smile was etched in deep repose. That's the actor. I've got one final one. It's called Legs of the Titan. Rolling toward town off the Jersey Pike, and at 14C you turn to the right and go down a slope and up a rise as two great birds before your eyes, twin giant birds like Sinbad's rock, would rise aloft with the city in tow. But that was far in the future when the old queen ruled, the innocent days when the old queen ruled, when those about her near as great would have her charms, and some said more, but none could top the Empire State, 'cause she was tallest, and that was that, in the innocent days when the old queen ruled. For these were mountains in a range of girdered steel and man-made stone that stretched for miles as we grew old, and played our child's games of might and gain, and swaggered with the power we could never retain. How we gazed with awe at our lofty realm, though owning it with eyes alone, while private dreams proved made of glass, long shattered and buried in secret graves. But together we were ablaze, battle-scarred and drunk with right, with a torch at the door and monuments galore, an attitude that stretched from shore to shining shore. We were the Titan of the world, the U.S. of fucking A. We scraped the sky and the sound was trumpets. But was the sky not lower then? And the trumpets too not made of glass? In the innocent days when the old queen rules. But even as we gazed with awe, 2 totems more, the Titan cried. Twin megaliths of awful height, to proclaim our wealth and extol our might. And was it just an eye blink more mid diesel's boom and tractor's roar, mid semi's blare and riveter's snare, like exuberant shoots from a giant pod they burst and soared and scarce looked back, great graceful reeds of glass and steel. And how we watched them as they grew, from up and down the avenues, from both sides of the Hudson's moat, from Brooklyn, Queens, from plane and boat, how we watched them as they grew. Oh, a few decried their lack of form, like cartons stood on end, they said. Too boxy, there's no sculpted grace. No sculpted grace. But had they watched on foggy days when these young giants, as at play, would lose their junction with the earth and seem to drift like dreams afloat, and had they watched as days were born, who first anointed by the dawn, and as the westering sun flew on, were last to yield the failing light, and then stand shimmering in the night. They were more of the sky than of the land, and stayed with us 3 decades more. And then one day, our giants fell, mid flames fueled for 100 years. And as fires broke out a world away, a world that changed in just a day, a world that changed in just an hour. Here all eyes turned to a mournful place beneath a torn and smoking sky. Well, the sky has healed as all skies must, and they're squabbling with plans to enshrine the dust. And as jet-jawed designers cry, this one won't fall. A tower called freedom is to rise from the pall. Full of red space and hubris, and even more tall. But for me, even now, with that turn to the right, where once in the distance great birds took flight, when fog or rain invest the night, I'd look away quickly, for fear there would be, like malevolent mists from a Sibyl's brew, are they phantoms of that bleak yesterday? Or some brooding tomorrow that is not far away? That's me. Thank you. Mike, thank you. And thank you, Marvin. And thank you, folks. And remember, if I may, remember, this is an immortal place. This is Greenwich Village, USA. And this is an immortal spot. This is where immortals showed their heart to the public for the first time in the 60s and 70s. If you're a poet, make it work. Work on your stuff and don't put it out there. Don't make it self-indulgent. Do it when it's right to do. And if not, put it away, let it marinate, try something else. But this is and should be and always was a living art form. And right now, it's in pain. Make it live.
Yeah!
And in 4 years, I'm going to run for president. I'll never win.
Keep it going for Mitch Cohen, everybody! Man, if you don't do poetry, don't you want to just like pick up a fucking piece of paper and write something right now, don't you? God damn, man.